car to get me out again?
No, get in the car.
Just okay, please.
Get in the car.
Get me out again.
Come on.
Stop,
Get in the car.
Stop
Come on.
that. I stop. Don't worry. Don't stop.
No.
Doing that. Just
Get in the car. No, I'm not gonna stop.
Just stop.
No.
You know, we know that when it comes to Mahmoud and Nicole, these are two people who have been together, and we know their relationship is very, very unstable due to what we've seen. Okay, we have seen them argue multiple times, and we've even seen them have hands on each other, not necessarily in a violent way, but in a way where they both feel comfortable enough to be grabbing each other. Well, here's the thing. Originally, we saw Mahmoud grabbing Nicole, grabbing her, restraining her, preventing her from running away when she was in Egypt. Fast forward, and now we've got the same scenario, but now it's switched around. We're now witnessing Nicole pretty much putting her hand on Mahmoud, restricting him, stopping him from going anywhere, and literally guiding him to the direction that she wants him to go to. And then also the last episode, we even had Nicole's friend blocking Mahmoud from actually trying to leave the apartment itself in particular, until eventually he said, hey, okay, you go, you do your thing. Okay, but that obviously was respectfully, shall I say. So the question is, how much more are we going to witness hands being put on each other? Because here's the thing. Yes, grabbing each other, guiding each other, blocking each other. Some people may argue and say that it's not that deep. Okay, and in some situations, depending on the context, yes, we can agree that it's not that deep. But that's only if it comes from a respectful manner, do you know what I mean? Or an understanding. But then sometimes you have to understand, when you're watching something and you're noticing that these two predominantly only really put hands on each other in the way they do, only after an argument, that then tells you that clearly this is something that, in my opinion, cannot necessarily be something that is respectful, because you are stopping someone from doing something physically when you two are not even on the same page, when you are both in a situation where right now you are arguing. You are right now in a position where you are both heated, or at least one of you is heated nonetheless. So therefore, what can happen? What are the possibilities of things that can happen if somebody gets grabbed too hard? If somebody gets guided with a push over arm a bit too hard and the other person is resisting? Injuries could happen. Accidents could happen. Or, to make things worse, one of them may even end up lashing out. Now, yes, we still don't know exactly what went down with Mahmoud and Nicole when we found out the report of the DV against himself. We really don't know what happened, and we probably never will know what happened. But one thing we can do is continue to keep watching to see what events what events led up to it. And so far, the events that I have witnessed of this man being in the States for a space of 3 to 4 days, maybe 5 now, is absolutely ugly. I can't imagine anyone to be in this situation and to feel comfortable knowing that they left their whole family back and moved all the way over here all the way to the States. And since they've been there, the person that is now hosting them, the person that is their wife, has done nothing to try and be a good host. The hospitality has been appalling, it has been ugly, it has been disgusting, and it continues to be so. But let's continue.
Last few days, I felt like I'm so tired and I felt hurt. Nicole acts like so different person here in America.
Mood starts.
You see, here's the thing though. I wouldn't say that Nicole was acting like a different person. Nicole was acting like who Nicole has always been. It's just, of course, Mahmoud, when he was in his country, Egypt, he had somewhat of a better control, shall I say. And I say that because obviously when we witnessed them, you know, we saw that Mahmoud was definitely laying down the law multiple times in terms of what he expects from a woman, things that he likes and things that he dislikes, okay? And those are the things that we saw that became a massive strain in their relationship. Those are the things that pretty much we all felt as if, this relationship cannot work. Why? Because one, she is an American woman who wants to stick with her own roots, and two, he's an Egyptian man who wants to be strict with his own culture. And those are two clashes that were never going to work. Why? Because a compromise was something that these two were unable to ever really get. Now, of course, they thought that maybe the compromise would be them trying to live in America this time rather than trying to live in Egypt. But listen, and that compromise, it's a compromise that on paper, when you look at it, you're thinking, okay, this may work. But here's the thing though. Just because somebody leaves their land, it doesn't mean that they're going to be a different person. For example, Nicole left the States to go to Egypt. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. She did try to adapt to the Egyptian lifestyle to a certain degree, but she wasn't willing to adapt to the full extent. So therefore, that obviously proves that she may have left America, but you cannot leave, but you cannot take the American outside of her. We're having the same situation with Mahmoud. He may have left Egypt, but you can't leave Egypt out of him. But the difference between these two is that Nicole had already been in Egypt multiple times before even going back to Egypt again. So to be fair, she did have a better, more understanding of what was required. Mahmoud now, this is his very first ever time. And the fact that Nicole isn't even allowing this man time to even try and, marinate to what's going on in the States is ugly, it is disgusting, it is unnecessary. And that's where it gets a bit different. That's where it is different with the two. But does it mean that, but if Nicole had given him more time to slowly lure him into the way she likes to live, does it mean that it would have made a difference to their relationship? No. Simply because Mahmoud is stubborn to his culture and Nicole is stubborn to America. And respectfully, that is fine. But then respectfully, this is why these two can't work, shouldn't be together. Unless, of course, TLC is just lying to us with their storyline. But let's continue.
Breaking down. I feel like he's being more honest about his feelings for the first time since he's gotten here. And I feel like these tears suggest that he is capable of change and of moving forward.
You see, the thing that I didn't like about that one itself in particular is because Nicole only spoke about Mahmoud. She spoke about him as if he is the only problem in their relationship. Here's the thing, she can talk about him, finally breaking down, him finally having tears, him showing a sign of vulnerability, which may show that yes, there's a potential future of where he may change his ways. But she has to remember this though. For him to change his ways also requires you to change your ways too. For him to change his ways also requires your support throughout that as well. Now, if she's not willing to support him throughout these changes, or she's not even willing to at least look at herself and hold herself accountable and make certain changes as well to bring a better balance, well, guess what? She can talk about him being vulnerable, him looking the way he is, him doing what he's doing, all she freaking wants, but it's not going to make a goddamn difference if she's not going to be putting the work in herself. So really and truly, as intelligent as she may think she sounds, she really doesn't, because what she said, in my opinion, comes across from a one-sided side of things. It comes more from a single one-sided person rather than a couple and let's do it together type thing. Do you see what I'm saying? But here's the thing though, this is something that a lot of people struggle with in today's world. They struggle with the idea of understanding that when you are in a relationship, everything that you do together is teamwork. It doesn't matter who is right or wrong. You both work on that problem together regardless. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Now, of course, if you're in a position where you feel like you cannot work together on those certain things together regardless, well, then that's when you're gonna have to really reevaluate, obviously, your status in your relationship. Okay, where do you want it to go? Do you see potential for it to be fixed? Do you see potential for it to improve, or do you see it being a dead end because you've tried so many times to help someone, or you tried sometimes to help yourself, but the support has never been on the other side? Because the grand scheme of it is this: when we are in a relationship, by default, we look for validation from our partner, even if we are an independent person like myself, someone who's an introvert. Okay, I tell you this now: if I'm in a relationship now, and there's certain things that maybe the person that I'm with doesn't like, and they express these certain things, you know what I mean? If I do those things, I'm gonna be looking for their proofs, and you appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? You appreciate, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're not getting it like that, and it works both ways, give or take. You see what I'm saying? I personally think that it's okay to look for validation when you're in a relationship with somebody else rather than to not, because I think that a lot of people sometimes will do a lot of things and be with someone that doesn't even show them the appreciation for it. And let's be real, appreciation is a very big thing when it comes to our relationships, whether it be with our partners or whether it be with our family, whether it be with our friends. Feeling appreciated, feeling respected is always a very, very key thing. And when we don't feel appreciated or respected for the efforts that we've now made to make things better, we then sit there thinking, why the hell did we do it in the first place? And that's a very good point. Why the hell did we do it in the first place? We did it, so therefore it makes us better and stronger for the next person who's actually going to appreciate it. People forget that sometimes, you know what I mean? The moment you're moaning to someone about something that they're doing, and then they actually fix that thing, and then you don't appreciate them, understand that thing that you told them to do better, they've now added that to their personality. That's now become that's now something that's made their personality even better. And if you're unable to appreciate it, don't worry. All that hard work you did complaining to them, they'll just take all of that stuff and bring it to somebody else. That's why we always hear this thing all the time. Oh, well, she wasn't doing that when she was with me. He wasn't doing that when I was with me. I asked him to do that all the time. He never did it. Well, how do you know? Maybe he did, but maybe your lack of didn't work. Or maybe he really didn't, or she really didn't. And then they thought about it after the relationship was over, and then therefore they obviously progressed it, which is obviously a whole different conversation then, isn't it? But nonetheless though, let's continue.
And you're gonna have to learn how to be Muslim here, okay? And just because you don't participate in it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
She hated that. But when I come here, she's on her country and she wanna show me like, here is like, I have the power or something.
And this is the thing, isn't it? Delivery. delivery of how we're going to do things, you know, and I feel like the delivery within their relationship of how, you know, of how to let me get my words right with this one yourself in particular, okay? Mahmoud isn't wrong in terms of feeling the fact that Nicole feels as if she now has power because they are now in America. Now, of course, naturally, you know, when we are in our own habitat, we do feel like, you know, we have a bit more power. But the question is, what power do we have? There's healthy power and then there's unhealthy power. There's the unhealthy power where, you know, you finally have someone in your realm and you're like, okay, in that case, we're not going to do things my way and then that's it. Whatever you say is irrelevant. Or you have the other power, the good power, the healthy power of, well, now we're in my element, I can now show you all the great things about this place that I live and all the great things that I usually do, all my hobby, blah, 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 take it all. You know what I'm saying? So power really depends on how you want to play it. You see what I'm saying? Obviously with Nicole now, she's definitely playing the power of, well, I know he doesn't like alcohol in the house, but I'm just going to blindside him with alcohol in the house. I know he didn't want to see my friends, but I'm going to bring my friends to the house anyway. You know what I mean? That is unhealthy power that she's displaying there. You know, she is not being kind to the slightest or being thoughtful to the slightest, so let's say, in my opinion. But let's continue.
He came to America. Mahmoud said that he would give his best effort to embrace life here. And then he just kind of went right back to the way he was before we had the talk.
Now listen, there's a possibility, you know, obviously that Mahmoud did say these things, you know, and if he did say these things, then obviously, you know, shame him for not trying. But at the same time, though, even if Mahmoud do say these things, actually, I take it back. It's not shaming him. Even if he did say these things, he probably meant that, listen, I'm going to come to this place, I'm going to give it a try. But also, you know, with your help. And I think, to be honest with you, you know, really in a relationship, no one should ever say, I'm going to try this with your help. Because as soon as you say, I'm going to try something, your partner should automatically say, okay, cool, I'm going to help you. How can I help you? Let's do it together. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Automatic. No one should ever have to ask their partner to do anything with them. Do you see what I'm saying? Well, subjective. It depends on what it is. You know what I mean? Hey, honey, I'm going to the shop. You know, you don't have to come over, you know what I mean? For me personally, I prefer to go alone. But obviously, in certain situations but in situations that involve improving your relationship, you know, benefit your relationship. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, those are the things ideally for the most part you want to be able to do together. Do you see what I'm saying? Because to be honest with you, I think one of the most scariest things is your partner improving themselves by themselves. And because what happens when somebody improves themselves by themselves, that means they are improving themselves as an individual, right? So they're individually making themselves strong and making themselves strong enough to potentially leave you or to be strong for somebody else. But here's the thing though, but if you grow together, then that means that growth is something that is joint to you both, and therefore it's something that's making you both stronger together. You see what I'm saying? Because you're doing it, because you're helping each other. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's one supporting the other one, or whether it's you both actually working up to the same thing, however it works, the fact that you're doing it together is going to be more secure for your relationship. But trust me, I tell you, if one of you is literally out there doing something that you know your partner could be helping you with, or you could be doing with them, but you're doing it by yourself to better yourself, trust me, I tell you, when that person starts to do multiple things individually to help them, to benefit themselves individually, just understand this, they're going to start, they in that moment in time, they are learning their worth more and more and more and more. And the more they make their worth stronger, the more there's a possibility they may look at you one day and be like, yo, I just like upped up my worth, but you're still stagnant here doing nothing. I mean, I hope you're not here just to, you know, just to be a part of my ride. Because really, until this ride that I'm a part of, we actually meant to be on it together. But each time I ask you, you're like, nah. And the fact that I haven't had to ask you, it's questionable itself. I don't mind asking you. But sometimes in life, we need a little bit of encouragement by being asked, which is respectful. If you keep saying, nah, and I'm elevating myself all this time, then what? You see what I'm saying? Big things to think about. I was going to say little things to think about, but nah, big things to think about. Nonetheless, though, when it comes to Nicole and Mahmoud, we shall wait and see. With that being said, though, let me know your thoughts and your opinions and we'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.